So it's Saturday morning. We're about ready to get started again on this gas tank installation. Put that 25-gallon tank in place of the 15. Really help our range, keep us from stopping so often. But I wanted to show you what worked well and what didn't. Hopefully some of this information will help you if you plan on doing the same kind of thing. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and give you a little tour of some tools and stuff. Okay, there wasn't much really special about getting to the cross member that we have to relocate, which is right there in the middle of the table. Standard tools will get that gas tank out. It also helps if you don't have too much fuel in there, but it can be done with a full tank, just a little bit more clumsy and potential for getting that getting that fuel to spill a little bit. So anyway, what did work is having a good selection of these chisels. I'm glad I sharpened them beforehand, and before I hit these spot welds with a chisel, what I wanted to do was use this automatic center punch and try to get dead center in the middle of that spot weld. Of course, that's after you've got the paint off and you can see it clearly. Then after I've hit about 3 times with the center punch, the automatic center punch, then I use the regular one and hit it about 4 or 5 more times to get a real nice deep point in there. And what that makes a difference on is whether or not these tips will slip or not. This is especially important if your tool is not able to get in there square. Now this is the Blair tool, a little more expensive, made in USA, and this is the Harbor Freight version. It's not as sturdy as the other one. You can see there's a couple of teeth broke off. But what did happen, and was really an advantage, was that this Harbor Freight one was a lot shorter, and we were able to get that in there at a lot tighter angle. This is that long, flexible drill attachment that helps you get in there. That was still a little bit too long. It would have been ideal if we'd have had a 90-degree attachment for the drills, but we didn't want to stop what we were doing and go chasing it down at the hardware store. So the Blair tool worked pretty good. I had anticipated going through a lot, and I didn't even go through one. So I think the stick lube helped. We never really ran it so hard that it was smoking like I seen on some of the Blair videos. And we never got an opportunity to try this other version that Blair sells. It's pretty much the same, except they have a drill in the center, and they advertise that as like non-skip. So I guess if you're going to drill a hole through the sheet metal, that it won't skip. But the last thing we wanted to do was drill any more holes in the bottom of that floor than we had to. So as I said in the previous video, the 2 items that worked really good for getting that paint off of there was the real small wire wheel on the drill to get into smaller spots, and then the knotted wire wheel brush, 4-inch, that wasn't the really super aggressive one, but was a lot narrower. So that worked really good. So now, the other thing, oh yeah, we use this exhaust pipe cutter, and that's a Harbor Freight one. So it's only like, what, 10, 12 bucks, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So really inexpensive, and if you're not going to use it every day, it sure did the job. On this one, we had to pull those pipes off because they were going up and over the differential, and that was definitely in the way. So cut those pipes off, and then we'll figure out how to put them back on. Well, I guess at the muffler shop somebody will figure it out. So anyway, let's see. Oh, the other thing that helped was having a place to lay down, because we had the van up high enough so that we could easily drop that tank out. But then when we're holding that drill and the hammer and beating on it, it was a little bit long for our arms. So propping that up and also having as comfortable as possible really helped. So let me show you the Oh, that was $25 for the muffler cutter.
That was an investment.
One thing I wanted to show is this cross member and how sometimes it's a problem. It's sitting in there pretty much the way it is. This way is toward the front, and then, like we said previously, the secondary VIN location is right there. But these supports for the gas tank were a real challenge to get some of these spot welds out. I mean, we couldn't get the drill in there square. On the other side, it was a lot easier because these cross member supports or the gas tank supports were not as close. So that made a lot of difference. And the goal is to cut through the one layer of metal, but not through the metal that it is spot welded to, especially on the upper part here, which goes to the floor. So I'm going to show you what ended up happening on the floor here.
Let's move this guy out the way.
So there was only one spot where I made a drill through, but you can see there's larger, well, they see that's it right there. Let me see if I can get close up on that.
You probably have
Right there, yeah.
to put the camera on the other side.
So anyway, one little spot where it went through, and the rest of them were not too bad. So the name of the game is to try not to molest the floor any more than we have to. You see there's a little bit of deformation of the floor, but not too bad. We can always beat that into place.
That was more of a chisel and hammer effect.
Right, like hit chisel and hammer effect, like Jose says. So when we get ready to put this back in, of course, we're gonna sand the area that we want the spot welds to stick. Actually, these are gonna be plug welds. And what we're gonna use is something like this small Harbor Freight type welder. Now, this one's mine. I got this one for free when I was doing the Reno van. It was in the back, and he says, yeah, you can have that too. Jose's got one that's almost identical, except it's 220 volt instead of this one, which is 110. He got his for about $100. It was an open box special out of Harbor Freight, and we are going to use flux core and argon shielding, so it'll be a dual shield. And the funny thing is, if you get you need a regulator with this, which is not provided. These regulators can be pretty expensive. As a matter of fact, this Harris one that I bought is more expensive than the welder. With this welding rig that we got, we'll have shielding gas, and we are hoping that the sun stays out and warms us up, because man, it was kind of cool here in what's supposed to be southern sunny California all the time. So we ready to hit this again, Jose?
Yeah, can't wait. I'm gonna start by hammering down those bumps that we did when we removed the cross member due to the chisel and hammer effect. Kind of made some bumps on the floor. Hammer that down, weld the hose that are left there from the drill bit, and then carry on to moving the cross member forward.
Alrighty, Sunday morning, we're getting a little bit later start. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we still have to weld up that cross member. We did a little research, and there's a little bit of conflicting opinion about how far back that cross member should go. We basically took the tank and fit it up there, and then marked the spot where we think it's best. We've said, or other people have said it should be 6 inches from the original one. Other people 6.5. our rough measurement, and we're going to make a more precise one, is the tank width is 6 3/4 difference. So we just want to make sure that the spots where the tank contacts the support are correct. And we still haven't put the cushion, or whatever you want to call it. They had like a tar paper originally on those supports, so we're still going to figure that out and put that up there. That would make a slight difference on the where the tank support should go. Maybe it's a little overkill, or we're just paying too much attention to the details, but we get it right and then it'll last another 50 years. At least that's our hope. Okay, one of the things that we did is a little research on how far to move that cross member, and we found a couple of different references. One guy said 6 inches. Another guy, Rob Cleland, said 6.5. I would tend to trust Rob because I know him. I don't know the other guy. So we did our measurements of what the width of the tanks are, what's the difference. And so we put a straight edge along each line, or each edge of the tank, and scribed it, and then measured it. And what we're coming up with right here is just exactly 24 inches. So let's take this over to the other tank and see what the difference is. Now this one was grody enough that we had to scribe the line, and so our line, if you can barely see it, is right there and right there. Now be aware that this tank is a little bit dented, so it's kind of hard to get an exact measurement, but we should get pretty close. So let's see how that tape measure looks on that one. Okay, and what we're coming up with is
17 and
17, there we go, sorry. 17 and 5/8. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. 17 and 5/8. So that is a difference of 6 3/8. So that's just an eighth off from what Rob measured. And our measurement does not include the padding or the pieces of insulation that are on either side of the contact patch. So I'll show you what we're using. It's pretty simple. We had it around the house. It's pretty common. It's just roofing paper. So it's just like asphalted paper. It's pretty thin. So we're going to cut a pattern out for the contact patch on the front and the back of the tank, and call it 6.5. All right, we're under the van taking a look at the two hoses that are heading to the gas tank. And that larger one is 1 3/8, which is kind of an odd size. A quick internet search didn't see that readily available, but anyway, that's what we came up with. It's a companion to that next one, which is 15/32. We found that over at AutoZone. Both of them are 9.5 inches long, and at 15/32, you're going to have to stretch out that hose a little bit to make it fit on there real quick and easy. So they're ready to accept that gas tank. We just need to put that tar paper on the contact points of the gas tank and mock it up. After that, it's put those welds on that cross member after we get it right there where we want it. I wanted to show you what we are doing on this tank before we put it in. We got this tar paper, roofing paper, and we got some contact cement, some spray glue, and put it right there in the groove on the straps and on the top of the tank. Of course, the contact patch is not going to be the full length of the tank, but still in all, it looks better, and we like it that way. Okay, we've got that cross member exactly where we want it, and it turns out the sweet spot is right at 6.5 inches, exactly what Rob Cleland mentioned in his write-up. His write-up, if you want to check it out yourself, is in Facebook on the VCVC forum for December 18th of 2008. So hats off to Rob for getting that measurement dead nuts on, but we did take a lot of time and verify it. So thanks, Rob.